Good afternoon, ladies. Hope it all is well. We're going to continue more open source intranets. Maybe, how would you say it? Actually decentralized apps. Some updates to my my project for Nostr. It sucks paying $8 for a gallon. And why you should start locally hosting everything, like using like Home Assistant, and building out a based, decentralized, and self-hosted lifestyle. I think it's completely possible. Damn, $8 for gas. That's crazy. Thank you, Israel. Thank you, Iran. Before we get into the other intranets and internal networks, I should locally host gas. You should. Actually, you should just go solar. Why don't you just get an electric car? You live in fucking one of the most friendliest states for electric cars. You'd be retarded not to at this point. And if you own your house, just go solar. You're retarded if you don't. You literally eliminate your, even if you're like, say your electric bill is like $200 a month, and to finance fucking solar is like $200 a month. You save on future. It's a future cost saving thing. Tell your fucking energy company to go fuck themselves. That's why it's high. What is Nostr? We're gonna go over that. It's high because of electric cars. That's retarded. Gas is a one-use commodity. It's the worst. It's one of the worst resources on the planet. It's not because I'd rather ride my bike. What? I mean, you literally get every benefit. Electric car gives you every benefit of freedom, being able to charge it with whatever resource that you have. There's no maintenance there, and people complain about the battery cost. Government wants everyone to go electric. I'm going to remove the government part and just say it's retarded not to, especially if you live in a state where solar would pay for itself in like 10 years. It probably faster because of how much if you have no electric bill. Gas is like a very useless and single use commodity. There's no purpose in it. I can charge an electric car with whatever I want as long as it gives it energy. It doesn't have to be. It could be solar. It could be gas. It could be diesel. It could be E85. It could be kerosene. It could be a fucking bike pedal. Like you can charge as long as it produces a current to fulfill the need of the vehicle. There is no single use fueling option. The batteries in it are getting even more cheap to replace. I just don't see why people hang on to gas, like old, ancient, terrible technology. I mean, of course, the government wants everyone to go electric, but that's irrelevant. You would be literally handing no money to any power company. You would be self-sufficient, and you would be more based. I say that if you live in a sunny ass state where you get more sunlight than anyone else, then you'd be retarded not to. It would literally eliminate your electric bill. And then if you went if you went electric with like your vehicle, you wouldn't have to worry about any form of you wouldn't have to really worry about any form of dependency on big oil or who's about to go to war and just cause the gas prices to go through the fucking roof. No more $8 gas chips a gallon. Cool. All right. So we're going to go over exactly what Nostr is. So we kind of have explained it in somewhat detail, but we're going to do a refresher. We're going to kind of look at what it was, where it started. We're going to explore some apps, and then we'll get some GitHub repos. And then we're going to go, we're going to dig deeper. We're going to look at some Wikipedia stuff. It's been around for 6 years. Port 80 and 443, wow. Very short Wikipedia. And you can even go as far as IPFS. It's a very interesting place, and I like that I have the ability to make kind of like a front end that might be efficient and cool. So I got a front end application. It's just a file. You pretty much enter in. It's going to have Monero tips. It's going to load. It's all HTML. And then for the people that like get in here, I was like, global is kind of bad because it like makes it like very what's the word? It makes it very like chaotic. Like you're just getting all these messages going over. So post node is going to force you to log into first. You can do with Amber. I don't have Amber installed. Browser extension for NIP07. Private key login. If you already have your private key, it is dangerous to do this. You shouldn't do it. You should use something like Amber or Bunker. Like Amber is a bunker for holding your private keys, and you have to approve like stuff. And then if you can search for people like Mr. Beast. You can search for people on Twitter and find out if they have like a Nostr. I don't know if this works like relatively well, but I'll like test it once it goes live on a site. I'm gonna do some more work, like slower work on it, and then you have your profile. Which I don't know why it didn't work, but you can put your name, your bio, etc., your Monero tip address, and your NIP identifier. Like they have like domain like Nostr domains. I gotta test this, so once it goes live, I'll do some messaging. That'll be cool. Relays. The relays are kind of failing. I don't know if it's because it's not a live site. But very easy. There's some Onion relays and then Monero relays that you can pay for. And then I got searching Nostr. I got trending hashtags. I'll just have a way for it to like look for hashtags like that are trending. And then follow feed. Your profile is gonna stick. And then if you're on a global feed, your profile will stick. And then you have Nostr stats. So notes, like the amount of notes that are going out, total events, unique authors. This is going to kind of like be its own thing. Your social graph and your network. The relays you're using, how much bandwidth you used, latency average, uptime, etc., etc. And then your reach, and then WOT trusted, WOT known, FOF, unknown, in feed, zaps seen. It'll pull that. Maybe I could pull like how many times people use the tip. I would like to find a private way of collecting analytics. I think Mommy or something like that is self-hostable, and I could see anonymous like analytics, like how many people are using, what are they sending out, if they're sending anything out, and that's relatively what I've gotten. Then I've gotten an about stage. I'm going to kind of clean that up. Onion Relay directory. These leads you to a lot of sites. Learn about Nostr. Sends you straight to the site. NIP, like stuff like this, like Nostr improvement proposals. Um, if you want to get an Android signing application, you can actually make your own too, which is kind of cool. Like you can make your own offline signer to hold your keys and everything. Uh, let's see. And then learn about Monero, straight to the Monero site. It's because I want it to be Monero focused. But we're going to dive a little bit deeper into like exactly what Nostr is. Oops, okay. So I can just boom, 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 boom. And we can look at that later. So this is Nostr apps. This is where you can find applications. You can actually go on Android. There's something called the Zap Store where you can get apps that are signed by the developers. So that could be from a privacy and security standpoint. Could be nice. This is Yaki Hone. This is a Nostr relay you can actually run on Android. Amber is Nostr signing on Android. Freeform is like an app dedicated to bringing privacy and free speech back to SNS. You have Aegis, a cross-platform Nostr signing supporting multiple connections. Relay tools. Primal is kind of like a very popular Nostr client. You have ways to stream. You can stream technically on Nostr. Can you open a terminal and run free tech H? I'll do it off screen. I don't know what you're trying to make me do. Oh, like my free, is that my memory? I'm using 14 gigs right now. I have 9 gigs. Um, then they have photos. You can actually, you can look at photos through Nostr. Microblogging is a huge one. Like this is like super, super popular. Let's get off the Android part. Oh, let's do all. So if you're like if you're like posting, like you want to blog or something, there's Primal Studio, Freeform, Greenmeor is as a meta client. Direct messaging, if you want to message people, there's Flotilla. It uses Nostr as that. There's Flutter, Footer, I think. Group chats. I used OXChat once. I love 14 gigs bytes used. Yeah, I don't think you realize how many tabs I have open right now. File sharing, you can file share. There's decentralized torrent directory. Nostrudel's pretty cool. It's like it does a little bit of everything. And then a personal manager for Blossom. Blossom is how you get media on Nostr. It's kind of cool. So if you want to like host media or like save media, you use a Blossom server. You can get emojis working. Yeah, Blossom's an interesting platform. My Hardened Gen 2 is only using 3 gigs on Plasma and LibreWolf. But do you have 800 tabs open? And are you streaming? So there's something called Bloster, which is, I remember this. It was kind of interesting. And then there's blobs stored simply on media server. So it's Bloster is like a secure Nostr media storage, enterprise-grade media hosting for the Nostr ecosystem. Store, serve, and manage all your files with cryptographic authentication and global CDN performance. The good thing about Nostr is you really get to not only own your social media, you can get a lot of protocols that are kind of very like censorship resistant in a sense, and it's still relatively active. Blossom is blob stored simply on media servers. Anyone can set this up and run it themselves. It's kind of nice. There's client relay, relay to client, common tags, and then these are a list of Nostr protocols, encrypted direct messages, NIP04, uncommon depreciated in favor of NIP17. So that's what I use for the end-to-end encrypted messages. By the way, what is the Fediverse? The Fediverse is more of a... So like the Fediverse first is cross-platform, but not decentralized, because it can be... operators can censor you. I'm not trying to make it like you have to be on here and like it's like the most extreme. But the thing is, if a major instance blocks you, you pretty much fundamentally cut ties with that instance. Instances have been known to block people. I mean, it'd be like the Fediverse is a step above like standard social media, because you can be on PixelFed and post on Mastodon, and it can cross over to Blue Sky because it uses like it can integrate with the APT protocol. Nostr is more of everyone is kind of like connected. Now you can choose to block people. That's fine, like on an individual level, but instances in the Fediverse can just block entire instances. Dealing with unknown events, and then there's bots. Then there's Nostr wallets for like Cashew. Cashew in Bitcoin is kind of huge. Like right here, NIP60 is a Cashew wallet. Relay discovery, and there's no algorithm. Like that's kind of like nice as well. So give me 1 second while I get some water, and I'll be right back. So we'll look at the Fediverse. I gotta walk away back 1 more second, but I'm just gonna. Like you can actually integrate, I think, ActivityPub in anything. Yeah, it's the majority of Fediverse platforms are based on free and open source software and create connections between servers using ActivityPub protocol. Some software still supports older federations such as OStatus and Diaspora protocol and Zot. I remember Diaspora. Well, newer protocols such as the AT protocol connect via network bridge. You can bridge a lot of these networks together. And obviously the AT protocol, but the AT protocol is harder to self-host. It's more costly. Relays are very easy to set up with Nostr. That's why I think when it comes to having the ability to do something that's much cheaper and more effective, you essentially don't price people out of obtaining something like this, if that makes sense. And I could say that if you do price, like that's why I historically have hated like nodes that involve like running like I don't like the session thing because of how expensive it is to run a fucking node. If you make it difficult or expensive and you price average people out, you essentially are gatekeeping this, and I think that makes it less decentralized in its nature. Decentralization should be easy and simple and very obtainable to do for the common people. I mean, running a Tor relay is not really that difficult. It's very easy to set up. Um, it's practically like a single command, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So like that makes Tor very appealing to run, and that makes Tor not only appealing to run, it makes it easy. They thought really hard and deep about it. That they want more people to run relay operators as much as possible. So like pretty much the internet itself, open and chaotic, all kinds of stuff. Nostr embraces the chaos of early internet, multiple kinds of data, diverse forms of user interaction, and different clients providing their own perspective over the same underlying information. Many clients, many servers. The client is the app that is running on your computer or the phone. The server is whatever is running in the cloud or somewhere with a domain name. In centralized platforms and other protocols, one client talks to a single server. In Nostr, clients connect to many. You can connect to pretty much whatever server you want. Like a perfect example, in general, is like you can run your own relay. You'll have less reach, but you can run your own relay in order to reach other people. And if other people use your relay, they'll like if they reach your relay, they'll push their stuff out, and then they can communicate with each other. Relays just are they're pretty much as distribution centers. These are the servers that nodes are published to and read from. Tor browser, yeah, based. They cannot change the content of the notes. That would invalidate the signature, but they can decide what to store and for how long. The protocol is ownerless. Relays are not. So, freedom of association, your own piece of Nostr. If you're a programmer and know how to run servers, it's trivial to run your own relay with your own rules. When the network effect is not tied to a single organization, a group of users cannot harm others. Nostr doesn't subscribe to political ideas of free speech. It simply recognizes that different people have different morals and preferences, and each serve being privately owned can follow their own criteria for rejecting content as they please, and users are free to choose what read from. We're going to look deeper into the relays. Now, obviously, like your relay operators are going to have, I don't think it's censorship resistant or any form of censorship if they're deciding not to do anything with illegal content. Like if you can't like if like people want to like host like shit to your like illegal shit to your relay, then yeah, obviously they're gonna fucking drop it. I've actually surprisingly never in my entire existence of being on Nostr, which I spend quite a bit of time on there, just like reading stuff. Like I get my some RS feeds. I've never ran across illegal like anything illegal, like anything like I barely run across anything like I would consider like not safe for work. It's super rare. Once in a while, I'll see some tits, and I'm like, cool, but like I move on. It's not like where it's like Instagram is like people say like you build your feed brick by brick. You can go into a fresh Instagram, and I don't really care about it, but I'm just saying like from a pure standpoint, like a pure standpoint. There's a lot of sexual content on the internet just in the weirdest of spots. Like you'll just if you go on like Instagram or like if you go on like YouTube, if you go on Facebook or anything, this is just something that you can universally like find people. Like I don't have these platforms in like my personal life, but I just know when you go into these feeds, they want to engage you into the content that's going to keep you there. Like social media knows who you are. Like they know you better than you in a sense. So it's not really like, and it's not fair to say that it's just the users that are building this platform. If you make rage bait content, of course it's going to get more likes and more views. It's kind of like and then they get the likes and views, and then they continue to make the rage bait. It's like where they get a circle jerk of each other. About 12 days uptime, I2PD, not Bob, says I respond virtually to all pings. Based. Yeah, I was just looking at my I2P 12-day uptime. I think 4-day uptime. Really down here, it's saying something else on like my router. I've transmitted a good amount of store data. I'll have to eventually take it off Flatpaks so that I can go in there and edit it um, to give it more bandwidth so I can make my ISP cry. So Nostr is gives it kind of um, a voice for people that want to put content out and distribute it against other people that where they can organically find it. Like, I mean, when you go on any Nostr platform, you're gonna organically find stuff, not like an algorithm pushing to you. And there might be some cases where people want an algorithm and like it makes sense to them and it helps them find like they're like I found like music through XYZ, but like my kind of thought process is like how did you do it before? Like how did society find great bands before? This isn't or like great movies or great that insert this. I don't think that it's like the algorithm that's transforming people's lives into this endless of like, oh my god, I would have never found this band if I didn't have like Spotify, and I'm paying $15 a month for, and I am severely know that they're paying. I know they're severely underpaying the artist, anyways. Stuff like that. It's not really, in my opinion, efficient. And then we also kind of have that illusion where we're in this kind of paradox where we have too much choice, like where the choice of paradox, the paradox of too many choices, where people are just picking the same shit in the same genre and the same thing and the same whatever, and they're just getting recommended the same stuff. Like, I mean, I will die on this hill. Early Pandora had the best music recommendation on the planet. It was amazing. I found bands in the not in the same subgenre. Like it was in like the metal genre, but it was like It was like a band that's not even close to like another band, like in terms of like the type of metal. Or like, I mean, I found some of my favorite bands through Pandora, but then I don't really. I just buy music now, and if I just sometimes I now just do it based off on artwork. I just like look at an album and I'm like, that looks kind of cool. I'll read it and then I'll just go buy it and just go listen to the whole album. If I don't like it, I can just sell it or trade it to someone that likes that music or like that band. Music, physical media is kind of like a tradable commodity. People will buy it, and they will like if they like the said artist, they'll do it. I mean, this is like there's actually an app if you're like a music enjoyer. It's Bitcoin based, unfortunately. Where is it? Can I find it? So the cool thing about this app store is there's something I think called Wave. And I agree. You shouldn't ask for permissions to do apps. I think it's Wave. Yeah. It allows you to discover. It allows you, and these are self-published by developers. So keep that in mind. I think it's they do Bitcoin, but it allows you to discover where is it? If I find it, I'll drop it. Or is it Wake? I ain't gonna find it. I know what it is though. Not the point. So, but it's like it's a really cool app that allows you to discover music, and you can tip them in like Lightning, like Bitcoin Lightning. The problem with Bitcoin Lightning just has too many problems with it. Like if you have ever done like anything with Bitcoin Lightning, you have to and ran your own node. Actually, it's a literal nightmare. I'll be back in 1 second. They even have like a store where you can like sell stuff on Nostr. I haven't done live streaming yet, but it'd be cool. News up. I wonder how I would live stream. Look, guys, you can play chess. Oh, shop. Zap.stream. Okay. The Nostr protocol has been making waves and is a decentralized, censorship-resistant foundation. Oh, yeah. You have to like log in, I think, probably with your keys. Which would make sense. The viewers on it are going to be much smaller. It's probably something with OBS. Wouldn't have to worry about copyright though. Huh. Generally, you just log in with your private key, Nostr extension, etc. It's pretty cool. Oh. I just want to make sure it doesn't expose our keys. Get paid by viewers. We hook up with the Lightning wallet. You can get paid by viewers right away. Your own address. Amazing. Yeah. I'll delete this later. Yeah, it seems like this is a very interesting. Obviously, like it's not gonna be as many people watching it. Adult Swim. Nothing. Interesting. Oh, Maybe I'll become the biggest creator out there. I'll start a revolution. There we go. So exploring, you can explore comments. It's still under construction, obviously, but pretty much a relay. You send out notes, boom, and you can follow people. Users can switch relays when they need to. If Patricia's current relay bans her or shuts her down, she can easily switch to a different relay, a paid service or whatever, and she can simply start publishing new announcements and continues to post without losing her audience. That's the best part. It's it's like if a relay bans you, who cares? You can move on to like. This is why I run my own Nostr relay. If I've never been banned, I generally don't argue with bot because there's bots on there too. It's a universal problem. But I don't sit there and just start arguing with people because it's so boring. I just post, I chill. I find cool. I definitely find very cool people on there as well. I mean, it definitely exists. The thing is, like, let's see. There's not really like a reason not to look at. What's a protocol? How does Nostr handle spam and unwanted content? So in the default feed, you never see any spam because clients will only fetch information from people that you follow. In that sense, no one can push spam onto you. So this is like a net positive. Like your default feed is generally going to be, you can look at the global feed and there's going to be obviously spam there, but you can avoid spam by just not following people. It's trickier when you want to see, for example, replies to your post in case the client. That way, claim to be applied from anyone, which might include spam. The way we can deal with Nostr is by restringing our area of contact with spam, for example. Some clients may easily decide to only display replies from people followed by people you follow. More refined strategies involve announcing and then only reading the notes from relays known to be safe according to your criteria. Could be relays that require payment, relays that do screening for humans, relays that only accept members from certain communities or political figures, etc. So you can set up your relay to fight bots and spam. You have paid relays, and some of these paid relays are like cheap. Like there's where's the so there's a Monero relay. So it's a paid relay. To avoid spam and get quality content from paid relays, feel free to pull one-time payment to post. Neurostar is open source and it uses stir fry as the relay, which is kind of base. So like you get the option of pretty much paying a small amount of Monero, supporting the Monero economy, and then using a quality relay to prevent spam. Since there are costs involved to publishing these relays, you won't be subject to spammers and bots, thus getting better global feeds. I like that idea. Will Nostr scale effectively with mass user adoption? It's just a client and server architect. Client, server. That's it. There's no like server infrastructure though that needs to handle all your data. I mean, like again, relays are ran by people, and you can run your own relay. And the more people that run relays, the better and more efficient it'll become. Although almost the opposite, concerns may rise with problems arising from clients having to connect too many relays if the profiles begin follows whatever decide to spread way too much. But this should be a problem either because people tend to follow many accounts with similar content, and these will tend to share relays. It's still, if it's happening, it's cheap for a native app to open as many hundred of WebSockets connections simultaneously as they will be getting fewer data in each of those. For web apps, this isn't so hard. We can still go up to a few hundred, up to a few hundreds without big problems. Regardless of that, in any complete enough app that wants to display a following feed, it's already necessary to store the events on a local database, and that'll make all these issues easier to deal with, and you can even request in batches instead of at once. And you could, yeah, you could have like the media like stored locally or like something like on the Android device maybe. What protections against online harassment? Harassment is similar to spam in the sense it can still create undesired content published to the relays, accept them. All techniques to make and avoid pretty much it. Presumably, friends of such target will also block. You could just block people. That's kind of like the easiest. You should just do that in general. It's easy to block people, on XYZ platform. I mean, yeah, people can make different accounts, but who cares? Like it can happen. It's a problem universally. You should just stick like to your. You should just ignore the online bullshit. So there are many problems with Mastodon, mostly due to the fact that it doesn't rely on any cryptography. Because it cannot do the multi-master approach of Nostr due to lack of cryptography, identities are assumed to be owned by the server, which is fully trusted its tenants. And as a person who ran their own Mastodon server, that does make sense. You don't actually own your social media profile on these platforms, in a sense, because the operator, actually, the place that you sign up, they kind of own it. Mastodon servers owners can do all the harm centralized platforms can do to their underlyings, which are completely helpless in the case of misbehavior, or in the event of a normal case where the server owner loses their server or decides to shut it down for whatever reason. Worse than that, for many of its purposeful features such as blocking or direct message, users have also have to trust owners of the other servers. There's also a problem with reliance on the DNS system, but we don't have to talk about, that's irrelevant apparently. The most interesting feature of Mastodon is, by its nature, is it creates communities with shared values that grow in each of its servers. Or should I say that it should be a feature that actually works like that. In fact, these are not really communities, but a mash of users that share the same interests amongst each other, but also have the interest in those other interests end up polluting the supposed community with things that do not interest other users. Nostr, on the other hand, can create a real community around relays, specifically because users don't have to fully belong to those relays, and they can go to them. You can I can even show you for like Iris, right here. Here's all the relays I use. Say this was Big Mommy Milker relay. Say this was like anime relay. This is how easy it is. I will not receive anything from those relays. And no new discoveries. I can go down to one relay. Obviously, I'm not going to get anything. Snort relay stir fry. Okay, let's go here. Let's go home. Let's get rid of that. For me. Oh no, I'm not going to get anything because I don't have a relay. So I'm going to put on one of the most popular relays, which is Demos. And here, boom. And then let me take that off. Let's go back home. Let's do this one. Your content's going to change real quick. I just received my first XMR from mining base. This is from March 10th. And then I'm going to add, and then distance from you, like so many hops. And the more relays you add, like one of mine, I'm like, I think I'm like 50. Like I have like 50 active relays because I want to push the content out as much as possible. You can add as many as you want. You're going to get more feeds, but That's just the reality of it. And, I mean, it's a cooler way of getting said content. So why not just a Blue Sky protocol? Blue Sky has many problems. The two most pronounced are identity centralization. All accounts belong to PLC, a database ran by a central entity that can censor at will. That's true. Or alternatively, they can belong to a DNS domain, which is cumbersome, also censorable, risky, and not expected to be used by many anyways. That's true. Data centralization, because the Relay app view client flow assumes only one canonical source of data each step. Unlike Nostr multi-master architecture, the source is always a server that has power sensors, shadow bands, record data, and so on. You could argue that Blue Sky clients could become smart and start sourcing data from multiple app views from multiple relays, or the app view could relay on multiple relays, talk directly to the PDS, and all that's possible and would indeed bring solutions, but none of these things started happening. Blue Sky would end up becoming Nostr, except with more steps. And it's also like kind of like not cheap to run. Our economic incentives aligned with keeping relays operational. Yes, clip this clip as well. But basically, the answer is the same question about scale. If users can go to whatever relay they want, we'll see relays ran by all sorts of people entities. Running servers is very cheap, and relay can run on a $5 a month server, a house at least at least a few thousand of users. It's not hard to imagine relays ran by communities, individuals, or who just want to be useful to others. Big organizations wanting to gain goodwill with some of the public, but also companies, client makers, and of course dedicated entities who sell relay hosting for very cheap. If content is spread across multiple relays, how can I be sure I'm seeing everything? It's not a feature of the world at large to be able to see or hear everything that is happening everywhere at all times. Nostr inherits that property from the world, making it so that you can only see what you focus attention on, and you're allowed to see the relay hosting that information. How can I discover new content from relay I don't follow algorithms? The most basic way is by following the nature habits used by most centralized social platforms. Users sync since a long time ago by looking at people you follow and whom they're interacting with. But also, it's not true that Nostr doesn't have algorithms. Nostr can have algorithms of all kind: manual, atomic, AI-powered, or rule-based. Some of these algorithms can be run entirely locally on clients. For example, surface postings from the time to time when you're not online, or from people that make fewer posts, or when other algorithms can be provided, all sorts, either by naturally surfacing posts. I haven't ran into an algorithm, so I'm not entirely sure. And people always ask if it's related to Bitcoin. Nostr uses the same cryptography principles of Bitcoin and was kickstarted mostly by a community of Bitcoiners, so it has disproportionately attracted the attention of Bitcoiners at the start. But aside from that, it doesn't have any relationship with Bitcoin. It doesn't depend on Bitcoin for anything, and you don't have to know or care about Bitcoin in order to use Nostr. What about Zaps? Zaps are a stand for tipping Nostr content using Bitcoin that implemented by some Nostr clients, but it's fully and completely optional, and you don't care about Bitcoin, you don't have to bother about it. That's the thing, is like you don't have to be involved with Bitcoin to make it work, etc. Nostr.com is paid service. Remember when we said Nostr didn't have any owners? This also is not an official website of the protocol. It's ran by LMBits, and we're proud supporters, pioneers, and enthusiasts of Nostr. LMBits is pretty cool. They are kind of like a good way to, if you host your own Bitcoin like node, which you should, to be completely honest. If you're going to even use Bitcoin, Bitcoin's kind of a terrible thing anyways, but if you're going to use Bitcoin, you should run your own node. You should run your own Monero node and your own Bitcoin node. So, staying on the mission, lies they tell you, cutting the Gordian knot, and this is a really good read from, I think he's one of the developers of Nostr. And it works off public and private key, cryptography, so that gives it a more concrete way of keeping your identity, like in a sense, like you have the absolute ownership of your account. You can even get you can pay to get like a username, a one time fee, and you'll get like a special username, and you can keep it for as long as you want. But that is Nostr, guys. We will go over the other decentralized protocols in the next video. Most definitely, most based. I have given 50 minutes and 9 seconds of my life. Thank you, everyone, for joining me and watching. I appreciate everyone that comes here and comments below, because YouTube will know that I'm a real person. Let's ask, what is your favorite protocol? There are hundreds of protocols out there. Find out what your favorite protocol is and comment it below. And I will see you guys in the next video. Later.